Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Casual Dad, and today we are continuing our ultimate guide to Civ 7, as you can see from the title, and we are going to be going deep dives on our adjacencies and how to set up our cities. Now, you may be thinking, haven't you already covered this? And we kind of did when we were talking about our starting city. Starting your city gets off, really helpful to get off to a good start. And some of those things are really going to be the same, okay? Mainly, you really want to focus on settling on freshwater to get that +5 happiness boost to that city. It's just going to be nice and helpful. So what you have here is you can see your happiness. You're going to start off with +5 when you start off at a freshwater. If you hover over any of these, it will give you a breakdown of where is it coming from, any bonuses you're getting, anything like that, to arrive at your final number, okay? And I've got some mods in here to help with the gold and the production costs so that you can see. So we're gonna talk about that. Make sure you go to the workshop page on Steam and get the mods that are good for the UI, compact city type of mods. So really helpful. You know, and then you can come over here and you can look at your different overviews, you know, connections. Just make sure you familiarize yourself with this page, okay? It can be pretty helpful when you're confused about what has what needs what. And so I just converted this from a town into a city to show you some of the adjacencies, because that's what really matters a lot, because this town is pretty unique. This one plot right here we'll be able to show how all the adjacencies work, and so we're going to go into that. So we are going to give you a list of the adjacencies, and then we're going to show you how they work. So culture and happiness buildings, they get adjacency bonuses from mountains and natural wonders. Gold and food buildings get adjacency bonuses from coast and navigable rivers. Science and production get their adjacencies from resources. And then every building gets a bonus by being next to a wonder, and then you get like a science culture bonus by being next to the city center. So every building starts off with a base yield, and then it gets modified throughout the game, different ages with different things. So we're going to start off, and I'm going to show you for science. So the university, it starts off with a base yield of 5, and then it tells you right here, in case you forget, what does it get adjacencies from? +1 science for resources, wonders, and quarters for this exploration science building. So that's a thing that's not in for everybody. You can unlock that. It also gets +4 food because of the things we've unlocked in exploration age. All right, so you click it, and it's going to tell you where to place it down. And then, as you can see right here, when I'm hovering here, it's giving you arrows showing you where it's getting adjacency bonus. So it's getting one from here, one from there, one from there, one from there. Okay, it's actually getting 2 from here. That's how it's getting to 10. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5 plus this natural 5 gives you 10. Same thing for our production. So you'll see this. So it has a base of 4. So then it's getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, an extra one from the city center, and science from city center. So those arrows tell you where it's coming from. And then if we go down to the wharf, for instance, okay, it'll show you this one it gets from here. This one it gets from here. This is basically the best spot for a wharf, where it's surrounded by ocean. Okay, so make sure you're paying attention to that. We'll see the guild hall. Again, it shows you you're getting it from here, not from here. This is why this is a better spot. This is the water. If this was Navigable River, it would also be getting bonuses from Navigable River. The pavilion, the base is 5. Pretty much everybody's base is 5. Okay, and so here it's getting 1 from the mountain and an extra 1 from city center. Same here, one from the mountain, one from the city center. Out here, it's not getting anything except for quarters. So it has one for being adjacent to quarters, okay? And it does not work on the resources. So use that whenever you are planning a city, okay? And this is also useful for any unique quarters that you get. But make sure you build these together so that you can take advantage of their synergy and their social abilities, like being able to build certain units or whatever it is. So we're going to go and we're going to kind of analyze a few other cities. I suggest you go into the workshop and you get the map tags. It's really nice, one, because when you click your city center, it shows you the maximum that your city is going to grow to. So when you're trying to decide, oh man, do I go here or do I go here? You know, it's going to show you, like, do I want this spot or this spot? Well, that second spot gives me access to furs when I'm fully grown out. So maybe, and spices. So maybe I want to move here instead of here. Obviously I don't, because it's between two volcanoes, but you get the idea. It's going to show you what you need to get into. And then whether you have it selected like that, sometimes it can also be helpful in the early game when your cities are not fully fleshed out. So like this city, you can see how much overlap you're going to have if you settle close by. Or this city, not fully grown, you can see how much more they're going to grow. But the most important thing is if you're really having a hard time with your adjacencies, is coming in here and using either the science building, okay, because as you hover, it's going to tell you what you're going to get at that spot and whether it's a good pick or not. Now, don't go by it all the time because you may have reasons that you need to pick a certain spot. You also cannot place on resources, in case you did not know. You can either do that, or if you are talking about a specific building, it's a little bit better because then you can see the adjacencies. See, you're getting 8 here. If it was a generic size building, it was only showing you 4. Okay, and so you can do this for all your buildings, and you'll see a lot of people online, maybe some friends of yours or whatever, that they'll use it when they're planning out a city. It's the same thing from Civ 6. Map tags that where if you have a brand new city, like we'll pretend we'll come over here and we'll pretend we're going to settle. We're going to settle right in here. So we're first going to look at settled lands. Oh look, there's fresh water right there. So let's put our city center down. I'm just ignoring everybody else for this purpose. So city center is here, and so I'm going to capture all of these resources. Well, I see I can get, mountain adjacencies here. I can get double mountain adjacencies on either side of this. Really nice. I can get double resources here. I can get double resources there. I've got some rivers. These are not navigable rivers, so they're not going to count for your gold and your food like it would if it was down here. So you can kind of ignore that. So then you just come out and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to get this building first. And so I'm going to want to place it probably, I'm probably going to place it right here. Because what I like to do is I like to get my ageless buildings and I like to stack them next to the city center. Because you cannot put a building out unless it's connected to another, at least building, if not full district, or a wonder that's completed. All right, so you have to grow out like this. You can't just start out here. It's a little annoying, I know, but you just got to put that plan into action. Same thing for any of your other buildings like the granary. A lot of times I'll put that in my city center just to get out of the way. So it has everything in here. If you're gonna have any mod, the map text mod is the one you're gonna want. Okay, and so if I don't think I'm gonna get to universities because the game's going too fast or whatever, that would be real nice. That would be nice 17, and then any specialists are gonna get boosted a ton because I've got 2 science ones in there. But if I don't think I'm gonna get there in time, maybe I put the armor down. Okay. Still gonna get boosted with specialists, but it's gonna be spread out between science and production. Okay. So don't be afraid to mix and match if you have to. Same thing for our culture and our happiness. So we don't have a natural wonder in this city, but if I go here, I get 6. If I go here, I only get 5. Here I go, I get 6. I get 4 out here. Okay, so use this to help kind of plan out your city. So we're just gonna do it real quick. We're just gonna ideally plan out the city. Okay, and now we've got some happiness buildings. We're gonna place down. We actually need to move this over here because without this we can't grow out. Because we have to be connected by cities. We're gonna put our unique order here. That's a huge science boost because of all the quarters around us. And maybe we get, I don't know. Let's see. Maybe we get the House of Wisdom. Okay. This is just, we're just planning out just for you so you can see. So now the Guild Hall, not a particularly good place for the Guild Hall, but I can fill in gaps. I can put it next to the Wonder to get better adjacency. Okay, and we can do the same thing for the inn. You find a good spot for the inn. Again, because there's no water, the food is not gonna be as good. So you're just kind of just doing what you can to maximize it the best possible. And some of these, especially in exploration age and later, you're not gonna be able to do on every city because, like, shipyard, you gotta be in the water, wharf, water, bridge. Well, if you don't have something to bridge across, obviously you can't use it. Sawmill, it has to be on a river, so it has to be right here, or it has to be right here. Okay, and its adjacencies still apply, but this one is for production on camps and woodcutters. Maybe in this city you don't have a whole lot of either one, so maybe you don't want it. My point is showing you all this is for you to take into account. See, gristmill has to be placed on a river, so I often put my sawmill and gristmill together since they both have to be on a river in their warehouse buildings. You have your other improvements, you have wonders. So look, you just quickly, I went through and laid out my city, and this is what I'm going to aim for. It's not bad, but and I'm not even trying to maximize. I'm just taking what I already know for my adjacencies, and I'm putting them down, and I'm just trying to do the best I can. So the last thing I have that I haven't put down is I haven't put down my production. And so production's also like science, so we want it next to 2 resources if possible. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem like it's going to be possible, which is fine. That happens sometimes because we wanted the House of Wisdom here to help buff some of these other buildings because of the adjacency bonus you get from the Wonder. But we have 1 resource. We have others here. So in this case, what you could do once you've planned it out and you're like, man, I really need to get over here to this spot. Well, instead of putting 2 here, maybe you come out over here. Just an example, I probably wouldn't have done this. I don't like splitting up my ageless buildings. I'd rather it be compact and I take a little hit on things, but just to show you an example. Then you get out here, and now you've got 15 versus if you would have just gone here, you get 11. So you're like, okay, well that's 4 difference. What does it matter? Well, 4 difference over, let's say, 6 cities. That's 24 a turn for your whole empire difference. Okay, and you have 100 turns in an age minimum. And that's 2,400 production that you're losing. And again, guys, I'm not even trying to min-max. It's just simple. Maybe it's simple for me because I'm an engineer, but just simple, like math. 4 difference, and then however many cities. Maybe I have more. The more cities you have, the more production loss it is. And so just take some time to plan it out. Maybe you don't want a house in here. Maybe you want it somewhere else. Maybe you put it here before you build anything else, because you can still build this way. And just because this is your plan doesn't mean you have to fill up each quarter. So it's an urban district as soon as 1 gets put down, but it's a quarter when it gets 2. Okay, so it doesn't mean you have to fill it up before moving on. You could easily come in here and build the mosque, and then come over here and build the observatory, then come back and build the temple, and then the pavilion, and then fill it in. You don't have to just build both and then move on. Okay. This is real helpful, especially when you get a lot of gold like I have, and you're setting up a new city quick. Take the moment to plan it out, and then you can just go through and just buy what you want, have it nice and perfect and set up. And that's just really the way from the start, from both your starting city, your capital, and every other town and city you set up. Because you can do this even if you're not going to be turning a settlement from a town into a city. You can still work on some of the buildings that you have that you can buy to make sure they're placed in really good spots in case you do turn that town into a city later. Or maybe you give it the new bonus where you can buy some basic buildings like your science buildings and your culture buildings. Maybe you're playing as Augustus and you can buy your culture buildings. You have to plan for everything. And again, it didn't take me long to plan out this city, right? Because I already knew my bonuses, so I knew what to do. And I'm not counting up to know exactly just it's gonna be great. I just know science and production resources. All right, so I'm trying to stick them to as many of those as possible. And I'm not gonna agonize. This, depending on where you're at in the game, if you're super far ahead, probably fine. Now, if you're gonna min-max, you're gonna want to build out here to get this 4 extra. Okay. I know my culture next to mountains. I see it, 2 mountains, boom. I'm not even thinking about the actual numbers. I just know this is good. No mountains, bad. 1 mountain's okay. 2 mountains, good. 3 mountains, great. All right. Or same thing for the happiness. Oh, next to Wonder Mountains, great. And so these are things that go through my head that you should be thinking as well. It's okay, resources, great. This is what I put here. Rivers, this is what I put here. Okay, things like that. And if you do that for 15 cities or settlements like I have, and you couple that with good policies, good resources, then you're going to be well on your way to just absolutely dominating. So we have resources that give us more gold in science. We get adjacencies for different policies. We can come in here and see more of them. So all buildings receive +1 science adjacency from City Hall and Palace. That's because of our special city or civilization civic. You get +1 gold on each gold adjacency. So, make sure you get those gold adjacencies, which I said are coast, navigable, civic, the navigable rivers down in your cities. So you get more gold from this. Okay, same thing for your happiness adjacency. Okay, so you see how all these things with your different policies start, really compounding. Okay. Let's see, that 1 city we get +4 food and production in towns and distant lands. That's gonna be super helpful. We have other ones that we can do based on how we've played. So we get science adjacency for extra science, and it just goes on and on. So without even really having to do a lot of hard calculations, just knowing your adjacencies and what works and works does it, it makes all the difference in the world. And it makes you go from having puny little numbers like Harriet Tubman here and struggling to having outsized numbers like we have, where 3,000 gold per turn, 3,000 science, 1,700 culture, almost 1,500 happiness per turn, and 222 influence per turn. That is just insane. Okay, with that, no AI is going to beat you. I mean, and this is immortal because this is the game that we played through for this series on the Ultimate Guide. But I've got these numbers in bigger on Deity. So take your time, get the map text mod. If you don't get any other mod, do that one, and just plan out your cities. If you're still unsure, watch some YouTubers. Go back and watch some of my series, my Let's Plays, watch other people's Let's Plays, and whether they explain it or not, see if they're putting their quarters in the right spot. Sometimes they're not in the most optimal spot because there's a trade-off. You can go for the most optimal spot, but how long does it take you to get there? We'll go back to the example over here. Okay, this is 11 versus 15. But if this takes me 30 more turns to get to, and I'm not getting this in the meantime, that's 300, over 300 production I'm missing out on just to go for the optimal. That ends up not being optimal, okay? So don't take too long trying to set things up and get things optimal is what I'm saying. Otherwise, you can really hurt yourself and bite yourself trying to min-max too much. Now, if the game, that's because the game doesn't go on forever. If the game went on indefinitely, then yes, do that. It will be helpful. But if you're just playing for fun, playing fast, playing multiplayer, or high level difficulty, Deity, you kind of want to get the age over with quickly. And so you're not gonna, that's just a bad call, okay? So that has been our little deep dive on the cities, because these things work from the start of the game to the end of the game. It doesn't really matter what civilization you are, how the game's going. You just need to play in your city. You could even be going all out war. It doesn't matter if your cities aren't done right. Then like who cares? Like your war machine's gonna fall apart. Very, very easily if you're not taking care of your cities. This was one of the complaints that a lot of people had early on about the AI. The AI built some bad cities, and you can't delete buildings and rearrange them or anything like that. And so you have to wait till the next age before you can start fixing that city. So take that with what you will. Hopefully the AI, I know it has gotten better a little bit, but hopefully the AI continues to get better about building things, especially the unique quarters. But that has been it. That's been our deep dive on city planning, adjacencies, and how to quickly, without taking a lot of time, and no min-maxing, but still producing a pretty great city. Alright guys, I love you. Make sure you hit that like button. If you like this Ultimate Guide to Civ 7, if it's helping you out to go from a noob to a pro, make sure you also hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for all of the videos in this series so that you can get all the knowledge so we all can have a better Civ 7 experience. This has been CasualDad. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.